The farm itself is deserted, livestock gone, crops ruined. Information on the strength or location of the German forces. However, they know the enemy are close. The threat of aerial attacks, although minimal, also means they must be very cautious. They learnt from the first few days just how effective German forces could be. Hunted and opposed on the ground, their objectives would be difficult to achieve. This farm will provide cover while they take stock and seek out other advanced elements of the various airborne landings made in the opening hours of Operation Overlord. For their part, most Allied troops have advanced towards their assigned objectives, and using the blitzkrieg tactics employed by the Germans in 1940, they know to probe for any weakness, but they must keep moving. They do know they have a wide range of weapons to call upon, such as fighter and fighter bomb and aircraft overhead, as well as powerful ships' artillery offshore. Each Allied advance group has spotters attached, who could zero in these weapons quickly and very effectively. From your right, ladies and gentlemen, German forces are advancing. We have a Steyr and a Kubelwagen making their way also towards the farm. Likewise, they're unsure whether it is occupied. Is this a French family of farmers? It might be some of their own troops. It could be Allied forces. The airborne forces open fire. The Germans now know who is in the farm. Those German forces, having broken cover, advancing towards the farm, were looking to engage the mass landings on the beaches. But here they have encountered the airborne forces. The German forces, having left the Kubelwagen, creep forward. Airborne are deploying weaponry, but the German forces have thrown a grenade. As the Germans push forwards, the Allied troops realise they're going to be outnumbered. They jump in their vehicles and retreat very rapidly. The Germans are stymied. They had hoped to take prisoners. Those prisoners could have been interrogated to give further information about the Allied landings on the beaches and Allied movements. Without those prisoners, they are still in the dark. They do not know. They will be relying on intelligence from other sources. So as this small German group take up their position, taking over the farm, they have radioed for more reinforcements. A larger German group coming in from your left break the tree line and will make their way to also take up position at the farm. So the Kubelwagen. Now we have the Transaction motorbikes coming forward, seeking to to reinforce the farm. This can then become a vital stronghold for the Germans, hoping to halt any Allied advances from the Normandy beaches. A German staff car comes forward to assess the situation and deploy the troops suitably. The motorcycles have ceased, they're taking up their positions. The original German troops are now ensconced in the farm. The escaping airborne forces have managed to get messages back to the Allied commanders. You look to your right, you can see the Allied troops coming in. First of all, a jeep. American forces coming in, they are going to reconnaissance the farm. The Germans are well hidden, some in the farm. The motorcycles crouch down in the field. 2 American vehicles head forward, cautiously, but the Germans are holding their fire until now. Quickly, the 2 jeeps return to their major forces. Yes, the information they had about the farm is correct. It is now a stronghold for the Germans. They are giving information to the heavy armory of what must happen next. This Allied reconnaissance force leads the way. They're confident they have the support of heavy weapons behind them. The Allies have been cautious. They do have so many heavy weapons, but of course if their own troops are so close to the farm, those weapons could not be deployed for fear of taking out their own force. So the information has filtered through that a larger German force is making its way towards the farm. The Allies wait and will shortly deploy their artillery to counteract the effects of the German advance. So to the rear of the field you can see the German Kubelwagen and the Steyr, and the heavy artillery fires across towards the farm. The British 25-pounders send the weaponry across into the field. The Kubelwagen moves forward to try and hide in the field, but the shells are landing further beyond the farm. In response to those 25-pounders, the Germans now decide to send in their heavy armour. Heavier armour is being summoned. First we see a German half-track coming into the field, heavily armoured and with weaponry aboard. He moves in at speed, takes up position adjacent to the motorcycle troops which are crouching down in the field which once was crops. Foot soldiers follow behind. The cover of their own weapons and their motorcyclists, they take position in the field, lying down. These are experienced troops. They lie down in the field to wait for the onslaught. The Allied troops initially were caught off guard. At first they were dazed and confused, but now they know where they're going. However, many of these Allied soldiers are fighting their enemy for the first time in their lives. A mirror image of the German foot soldiers. We now have Allied foot soldiers moving in from your right, very cautiously, checking on each other, checking with their commanders. What is their instruction? They are still on their feet, but very soon they also will be told to dig in, to bury down. They know that any minute now the Germans could once again open a fire. So to the rear, an American tracked vehicle comes in, and the Allies open the fire. They have spotted the motorcyclists, they've spotted the German troops. German motorcyclists bravely come forward in the field, providing cover for their foot soldiers behind. And the German half-track fires into the Allied troops. The German half-track moves forward again, but the Allies in their turn are pressing forward. Armoured cars are coming in, a jeep and a Bren gun coming into the field of play. The tracked vehicle at the back is again preparing to fire. Messages have gone out for more information, so spotter planes have been alerted. Both sides have spotter planes. One is coming in from your right, ladies and gentlemen. Is this a German or an Allied spotter plane? The spotter planes carry no weapons. Their job is to analyse what is on the ground and send messages back. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is a German, it's an Axis plane. He's working for the Germans, he's very cautious. Some of those Allied weapons on the ground could shoot him out of the sky. He's a light plane. The only damage he can inflict on the Allies is to message to the troops on the ground where they are, how many they are, what weapons they have, and what their groupings are. However, once again, if you look to your right, we have a Piper J3 Cub, a spotter plane for the Allies. He's doing the same job, assessing what is on the ground, what is happening, where the troops are, He will be radioing back to the Allies what the German troops' situation is. The Germans have now strengthened their positions in the farm, but the Allies have recovered from their initial surprise. Reinforcements are still being sent forward and the aeroplanes will be doing their job. The commander relays the situation and they quickly make fresh attack plans, knowing how important it is to keep up the advance inland. Realizing they are outnumbered, the Allies draw back. They'll draw back and take cover behind their cars and their weapons. And the German forces press forward and forward again. The spotter planes hover overhead. The heavy German half-track is firing once again on the Allied forces. The wounded are left behind in the field, so bravely coming into the beaches for D-Day. They've come but a few miles inland and for them the war is over. The Germans gain confidence as they press forward and forward again. There is a pause. The situation is reassessed. Information from the spotter planes is sent back to both forces. Together they're coming in over the trees, making another pass, avoiding each other. The only firepower those pilots have is a handgun in the cab. They are likely to fire on each other, taking evasive flights, hovering above the scene of the battle. Being rushed forward from the roads, approaching the farm. American troops hide behind the vehicles, knowing they are pressing forward and the German troops will have to retreat once again. Many of their forces are still sitting down in the cornfields, hidden amongst the crops. The Piper Cub does one final pass overhead. He can radio back that our troops are then going further forward. Once more the Allies push forward and forward again. The aeroplane is going off in the direction of the Faisal source. The artillery shells continue landing. The main Allied ground troops begin again and again their push on the objective. They're strengthened now with the additional troops and armour. The Germans have held the flank. They prepared for the onslaught. They held and didn't retreat, but now it looks as though they must. Many of the German troops laying down their lives, some collecting up information, trying to escape, some still facing their enemy, but I fear for them the cause is lost. The Allied troops taking them from behind has really made a decisive move. Heavy weaponry to the fronts of the farm. Troops coming in from your left of the tree line has made it a decisive pincer action. The final surviving German troops have no choice but to surrender. They recognize that their war is over. This localized battle has inflicted significant casualties on both opposing forces. Despite the experience of the German troops initially catching the Allies off guard, they could not match the ability of the Allies to feed more troops and equipment into the fight. The remaining Germans are forced to retreat, to give up control of the farm, some of them captured. They must also leave their dead and wounded behind, and those casualties cannot be replaced at this stage of the war, weakening them even further, whilst the Allies continue to gain strength. Almost as important is that each one of these smaller hedgerow battles is giving the Allies vital combat experience and an insight into their enemy. Each lesson learned is put into good effect for the next fight. For now, they can take pride in pushing the enemy back and freeing another small piece of France from German control. Ladies and gentlemen, the battle is now concluded. May we ask that you put your hands together for the reenactors who have made this possible.